good afternoon, fellow flight enthusiasts. Today I got a good one for you. I'm gonna be flying the Boeing 717, which is the TFDI version, in prepared version 4, and I am gonna be flying it. Let me show you real quick. Show you our flight plan. So we're going to be flying out of one of the Aleutian Islands, PASY, and we're going to be flying into Russia. Be flying into, let's see here. Not really sure what the name of the city is, but the ICAO for the airport we'll be flying into is UHMM, which is near... Well, let's see. It's in between Palatka and Magadan, Russia. So, kind of got myself on a bit of a mission here where I'm gonna be trying to make myself go around the world, and I want to hop to different destinations, go to different countries in Flight Simulator, and eventually make my way back home to southern Utah. So my goal is to take you on all my flights so we can see the various stops, and yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting. So yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and taxi us out to runway 10. Temperature outside is about 2 degrees Celsius, so we're just above freezing. And we're going to have a bit of a headwind, crosswind coming in at about 11 knots. So it shouldn't be too bad, too bumpy. So visibility is about 10 where we're at, mostly cloudy. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of snow on the ground. So yeah, just sit back, enjoy the ride. It's supposed to be about a 3-hour flight, but as you've probably seen from my previous videos, I usually fast forward through the monotonous parts, just so I don't lose your interest. So I keep my videos short, sweet, and to the point, but at the same time I try to keep them interesting and detailed, so you can see what's going on. So, and I got the Boeing 717 fully configured. Our gross weight is just above 102,000 pounds, and we've got flaps 13, so should have no problem taking off on this long runway of over 10,000 feet. All right, see you at the hold short. All right, so here we are at the hold short line. And because of how small of an airport this is, there isn't a taxiway at the runway threshold. So this one requires that I taxi to about the center of the runway, and then I have to backtrack to the beginning of the runway and then be able to take off. So that's what we'll be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and just get us configured for takeoff. Regardless, so let's do this. Okay, so get our landing lights turned on here. Landing nose light. Let's see. Keep all that the same. All right. Get our transponder on here. Let's go ahead and change the frequency here. I'll just set it to the standard of 1200, which is, well, technically it's the VFR code for the USA, but it's what I've decided to just fly with, so I don't have to try to think of a number. So Okay, transponder. I'm going to go ahead and set it to TARA. Okay. Traffic alert. Everything's set. Got the flight plan in motion right here. Got all my waypoints punched in. I got my V speed, so V1, which is our takeoff decision speed, that's going to be at 122 knots. We're going to be rotating at 128 knots. And then V2, which is our safe climb out speed, will be 138 knots. So, and I think over here, let's see, let's do this real quick. So yeah, here's our various waypoints and the distances and whatnot, and also the headings. So we'll be heading in a west-northwesterly direction. All right, I'm gonna get us taxied to runway 10's threshold. Let's do it. It's going to require kind of a tight hairpin turn because there is no 90-degree turn from a taxiway, like I mentioned, so I'm going to have to hang a Huey, which I don't always like having to do because sometimes I end up going off the runway. And with all the fresh powder to either side of us, sometimes I tend to get a little stuck. So I have to really hug the edge of the runway here. So pull this off. So as you can see, that differential braking helps a lot. So I managed to stay on the runway. So, all right. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to take off from runway 10 right here. Climb out, hang a left turn, and This is our first waypoint, the VOR SYA. So we're going to catch that. So we'll arm the nav, and then this will get us on course. And then I'll show you the additional waypoints as we get going, so you can have a better idea of what our flight path looks like. All right. Well, buckle up and enjoy the ride, the takeoff. Okay, there was just one thing that I forgot to do, and that was to set the proper stabilizer trim, which I forgot the number here. See, I tried to put in the takeoff center gravity and the gross weight in here, and it kept like it wasn't accepting it. I gotta show you what I'm talking about real quick. So gross weight 101.7 and center gravity 25.2. So 101.7 25.2. Yeah, see it, and then I get a message that says not allowed. So I don't know, maybe one of you viewers might be able to give me some insight on as to what I might be doing wrong. So so what I'm gonna have to do is, let's see here. Bear with me a moment here. See if I can get around this. Yeah, see, it's expecting more numbers, and so I'm not getting a green zone. So I'm gonna just go with 0.1. It could end up beeping at me, but we'll just push through it. So, and I'm not a real world pilot, so yes, I have the tendency to make quite a few mistakes, but the important thing is that we do good, survive, not crash. Okay.
Stabilizer. 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 Stabilizer motion. Stabilizer motion. Stabilizer motion. Stabilizer motion. Stabilizer motion. Stabilizer motion.
So it's been quite a while since I've last flown this aircraft, so I'm almost having to relearn it all over
Altitude.
again. Okay, so there's our waypoint. Let me click on the nav mode.
Stabilizer motion.
That'll get us lined up. We have passed 10,000, so go ahead and get our landing lights off. As well as our wing light. Seems like it's going to be a pretty smooth ride, so we'll put our seat belts to auto. Turn off our ground floodlights. Don't need those. Turn off our high intensity lights. Okay, we got all of our anti-ice turned on because where we took off from, it was already down to 2 degrees above freezing, so we knew we didn't want to take any chances. So everything's good there. Okay, we'll go ahead and climb up to our cruising altitude of 33,000.
Altitude.
PROF. I think that's the same as flight level change mode, if I remember correctly. Yeah, climb thrust. So that basically gives us a rate of ascent that's appropriate for our airspeed and engine speed. So while we're at it, we'll go ahead and give ourselves some more airspeed up to 280 knots. Our aircraft's going to pitch down a little bit so we can speed up. Okay, folks, I will be right back. Alrighty folks, I'm back. So we are currently at 24,000 feet, heading up to 33,000, cruising at a smooth 280 knots or 0.66 Mach. So I'll stay with you guys until we get up to cruising altitude, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so our next waypoint is going to be the opaque waypoint, which is just a little more than 107, a little more than 100 nautical miles away. So 18.7, I think that's minutes. After that, then we have Lumas, and then the Umbos waypoint. Interestingly enough, I don't see, doesn't show top of climb, so not sure where that is. At any rate, well, it's so far so good. I mean, it's a little bit turbulent up here, but not too bad. Not half as bad as what it would be in the SF-50 plane that I usually fly. So, wanted to do something different today, so thought I would fly this aircraft. This is a really nice payware aircraft. Got all the working systems, realistic flight physics, and I purchased it through Orbix, along with the legacy flight immersion effects, which are pretty cool. So that'll give you like the engine smoke, the engine condensation, wing condensation, brake dust, all that cool stuff. So in fact, I have, let's see, yeah, at least 4 payware aircraft that I purchased, along with the legacy immersion, and I've been very satisfied with them all. So I got this TFDI 717. I've got the Airbus 320 and 330 Professional from Orbix as well. The 320 also has immersion effects that are available at additional charge. And then I also have the PMDG Boeing 737 and 747 aircraft. And I purchased the legacy immersion for those as well. So, and then I also have the iFly jets, Boeing 737. That's in P3D version 5. Right now we're flying in version 4, so I'll probably fly that aircraft on one of these flights, and that's a pretty nice aircraft too. Very realistic, especially with its sound effects. Pretty impressive. In fact, I almost like it more than the PMDG version of the 737. Now again, that's just my personal humble opinion. Don't get me wrong, the PMDG aircraft are very high quality. But the iFly jets, even though it doesn't have the as many visual special effects like the St. Elmo's fire and all that stuff, there's a certain feel to it that just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. So it's a really good one. But I still wanted the PMDG aircraft because I like to collect flight simulators. I like to collect payware aircraft. So for the P3D flight simulators, I've got version 4, version 5, as well as version 6. Version 6 I mainly use for underwater stuff, and I have one underwater video that I made and posted on my channel, and I do plan on making some more videos in the future because I grab and create mesh for highly realistic underwater terrain that's not just limited to the default bathymetry that P3D comes with. So it's pretty cool stuff. P3D version 4, which is what we're on now, I have my main payware aircraft on, and then P3D version 5, I have another payware aircraft that I just purchased yesterday, which is the Cirrus SF-50 aircraft. It's a nice one. And then I also have Microsoft Flight Simulator X Steam Edition, which I don't use very often. I'll use it every once in a while. And
Altitude.
it looks like we're getting close to... Oh, yeah, we're getting just about to our cruising altitude, so... So it looks like I'm going to need to maybe back off on our airspeed a little bit. We're getting close to the red. Give us a little bit of wiggle room here, you know what I'm saying? Alright. Well, here we are. Oh yeah, that's right. I turned on the fuel crossfeed because I needed to balance out well, it's still showing an imbalance. So it looks like on this aircraft the APU draws from the right tank. So, oh, and this one's getting low, so I'm gonna turn off center and right pumps. Bear with me here. Just like to keep things balanced here. There we have it. Left and right tanks are balanced. I've got the center tank turned off because that one's just about dry. So I will go ahead and turn off the crossfeed valve. Oops. Oh, I guess that's just the one-click touch. I like that. I don't have to click and drag it. Alright. Alright, well folks, now that we've reached cruising altitude from here until we reach our top of descent, I'll go ahead and leave you guys be to enjoy the view, and this is usually where I accelerate the video a bit so that you guys aren't having to sit 3 hours straight, so usually shortens it up a bit, but yet still lets you see stuff as we fly over it. So, all right, so enjoy the ride. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we began our initial descent a little while back ago, and it seems like our fuel consumption is higher than what I was expecting and what I had planned on. There was a bit of a strong headwind most of the way, although now it looks like we've got a bit of a tailwind to help us out. But we are running into some fuel quantity problems, and if I pull up this window right here, it says fuel level low, land at nearest suitable airport, and it looks like we've got about another 130 nautical miles to go, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we'll make it the whole way. I've had to slow us down a bit to try to conserve fuel where I can, so hopefully we can do okay. So just want to give you an update there.
Altitude. Altitude. Altitude.
Well, folks, I gotta say, I am sure grateful for this tailwind that is helping us along, especially considering how low on fuel we are. And I'm glad for the little bit of fuel we had left in the center tank, as we were able to take a pause on the left and right fuel tanks. Right now we're about 70 nautical miles from our destination, and luckily that's the nearest suitable airport to us, so we should get there in the nick of time. Well, folks, there goes the rest of the fuel in the center tank. So now we are heavily reliant on the little bit that we have left in the left and right. So So really, we only have one shot to get this approach and landing right. We still got another 50 nautical miles to go, so keep my fingers crossed that this tailwind that we have will keep up and that we'll have enough fuel to make it. So as you guys can see,
Altitude.
visibility is pretty poor, so most likely I'm gonna be reliant on the Autoland system. But luckily the Boeing 717 has a really good Autoland where it'll take the aircraft all the way in and flare it real nicely on the runway. So as you can see, we're enduring heavy snow, so this could get a bit bumpy, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm a little confused. Terrain radar is showing us in the green, but looking out the window, I'm seeing terrain that is awfully close, making me very nervous. Thank goodness we're not doing this flight at night because, yeah, this is very nerve-wracking, so I'm getting myself ready to punch it full throttle at a moment's notice if needed.
1,000. One thousand. altitude. Stabilizer motion. 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 One thousand. $500. $400. Autopilot. 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 Minimums. $100. $50, $40, $30, $20, $10, $5.
Well, folks, I'm not gonna lie, but that was probably the scariest approach and landing I've ever done in flight simulation. Near zero visibility, running on fumes, knowing that I only had one chance to get it right. No localizer, no ILS. All I had to rely on was the LNAV. So I had to basically guess as to the appropriate approach and landing profiles. So I guess you could say that I eyeballed it. I flew it by the seat of my pants. So very nerve-wracking, but I'm glad we made it. And I'm sure for those of you that are watching this video, that part was probably extremely suspenseful. So hopefully you found it very entertaining. Alright, we'll go ahead and follow through with our post-landing taxi checklist, and we'll taxi ourselves to the gate. Alrighty folks, well here we are. Welcome to Russia. And once again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the like and subscribe button, as those help to grow this channel. Again, thank you for watching, and have a great night.